I want to take a minute to deal with how we consider geography and place in terms of culture, and then in terms of creating equitable experiences in education. And so this kind of how geography and place fit in is something that falls in with a lot of my research interest in my dissertation. And so someone that's very influential on my thinking in that area is Edward Soha. And he has a few books that I think are worth considering. But this one, he introduces the idea of spatial justice. And so there's really two levels on which we can consider the impact of geography. And I think it's important to recognize both of those levels. So the first is just physical access to different resources, opportunities, things like that. So in terms of culture, access to particular cultural elements such as museums, art exhibits, musical performances, things like that, physical access to those is going to matter. As far as education, access to different resources. So in rural western Kansas, sometimes that's access to specialists when it comes to special education. Even the fact that there's only one four-year university for the western portion of the state. So access to a four-year university and where that's at and who has access to it and where those things are, where they're placed, and who has access, who doesn't. The next level, and I think that one's pretty intuitive, that people understand that access to different resources, opportunities, whatever, depends on geography. The next level, and this is the one that I think a lot of folks don't understand, is how things become emplaced in communities or in schools. So when we take an idea, like a policy in education or a belief, it has to get put in place, like put into practice in an actual school by actual people in an actual town. So we take ideas, and the best example I can give for this is in No Child Left Behind. That policy, there's this idea that teachers should be highly qualified, which in and of itself is a pretty easy thing to understand. Like, oh, of course we want qualified teachers. Everyone does. But that policy has to be put into actual schools and places. And so one of the things that happened is when you take the way that it's set up to say, here's what a highly qualified teacher is, actually created a lot of problems in rural schools, especially for science teachers, because for science teachers, being highly qualified meant taking a whole bunch of tests to be licensed in all of these different areas that areas of science that you needed to teach in a rural school. And so when you put it into place and fit it into an actual community, it became problematic. So again, when you're thinking about geography and in terms of how it applies to culture, how it applies to equity in education, the two ways that it's important to think about it is access to resources, access to opportunities, but then how do we take ideas, policies, concepts, and put them into place in schools and communities.